Legacy K. Cameron on the left. Piljun on the right. Piljun is normally a burn player, but I think today he switched things up. I believe he's. I saw Grizzlebrands. I saw all sorts of nasty stuff. We got the Haruya sleeves on both sides of the table. We're gonna attempt not to mix up our cards. The reroll here. Second try goes to Cam, and he will take the play. That hand looked like it did not have enough mana to operate, so he has to ship it back. So Cameron is on Death and Taxes here. Not entirely sure how much red or black he brought. He's been known to be experimenting with the color splashes to try to give D&T a bump in its bad matchups. I think Pilgin is still thinking about this hand because he's still inspecting it. And he has until now to accept it or not. So hang on, man. I don't know just how dead you are with this hand yet. So he decided that Cameron was not dead to this. And as the player on the draw is allowed to take a reasonable amount of time before the player on the play goes to 6. We'll give it our best shot to just have Haruya sleeves all over the camera here. Both players are going to go to 6. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in Korea we always show all of our cards and wait for the other person to acknowledge how many there are before we pick them. It's similar to when I went to Japan. Wow, that mold of 5. When I went to Japan last, I found that all of the players. Wow, is that a main deck dismember on Cam's deck? Ooh, spicy. I guess it's not spicy if you've been following that deck. I guess they all play it now, but I feel like that's spice. Last time I went to Japan, I found that you always take your sideboard and display the 15 cards to your opponent before every game. I thought that was quite nice. Cameron is mulling to 5 here. So he's found a keeper. It looks like his hand is... Alright, we've got a turn 0 Chancellor trigger. Yep, I understand. Okay. So I think if we're leading on Rishidan Port and we scribe that to the top, I'm going to say that maybe he's got a mana source on top and he'll be able to put up a pretty good fight here. Piljun is on 6, and Black-Red Reanimator can make some pretty explosive plays even all the way down to like 4 cards. So he's tanking pretty hard, so he must not have like an A-B hand, but we can use a Chrome Mox, remove some unnecessary piece from the hand. Sure, now I've got a black mana available. And So he was thinking a little bit because he's going to Thoughtseize himself. This is the kind of hand where you may end up like throwing away a lot of your hand and possibly losing to a sword or something because you played super greedy. But sometimes that's the hand that you just have to go with. Oh, that's so bad. Piljun has Thoughtseized himself to put the Chancellor in the graveyard, but he did not reveal his hand. And now Cameron has played Cavern on Human, and then he paid an unnecessary mana to the Chancellor trigger because the Cavern could have made the humans all uncounterable. So you can actually just cast it straight through any trigger like that. But here we're going to find an Exhume, and Cameron does not have a target, so the Chancellor will come back, and we'll move forward in the game with basically this is the worst creature in the deck, so Cameron still has plenty of room to play here. Cameron using his middle finger to show just how much he cares for that Chancellor of the Annex there. So Mother is now active. We found another Cavern. The targets don't matter in this matchup, so I'm not too worried about not knowing what it's naming here. So every spell for the rest of the game, as long as the Chancellor is on the field, is going to cost 1 extra, unless it's like a creature who is uncounterable. So yeah, okay. So Cam did figure it out here. So just 2 mana for the Thalia. And Chancellor of the Annex is not a fast clock, all things considered. Because he's just a 5/6, so Cameron has 3 more turns to find a sword. Oh, and to find a plains. Okay, there we go. And since he hadn't cast one earlier, it's quite possible he's had one the entire time with just no actual white source. So we'll see. He's also free to grab whatever white source he wants in this matchup, so, you know, it could have been a scrub land if he wanted, which I'm assuming is the duels that he's playing in the deck right now. So swords will be a good 2 mana answer to the Chancellor, and then he's just way ahead. Unfortunately, Piljun should have revealed his hand to all players when he Thoughtseized himself. Cameron should have more information about what's left in the hand, but he doesn't know. So 2 damage comes across. It looks like he'll just be deploying that Jite. Not the greatest in the matchup, but I mean, it's okay. No, yeah, that costs 4 now. Chancellor will come across again. We're going to knock Cameron down to 10. I mean, he doesn't have forever to find himself a sword, but it's interesting. I guess he feels he has to go for a Badlands. I mean, it's a Wasteland deck. You gotta be careful, man. He really wants that red source. He feels threatened that Thalia is going to eventually get there against him. And he must know that he's very soft to a single sword now. That's 2 mana, so that should be Faithless Looting here. Oh. Thoughtseize. Myself. So he gets a little lower. Sorry guys, yeah, that is not how that card works. So he's put a Tide Spout into the graveyard, and Cameron's spot here actually looks quite good. Um, even if he ends up having to play some flying chump. The Jite, it represents 4 life a turn. He's just, by deploying it last turn, he's gotten himself quite a few turns. Yeah. Okay. Definitely waste him right now. I don't see why we're doing that in upkeep, but that's okay. He decides that there's no reason to stop attacking now, although the Thalia is going to get very close here. So he drops Cameron down to 4, but at a virtual 8. And Piljoon is at 11, which could go down to 5 uh, if the counters are used in that way. So really, Cameron can't really lose here now. He is going to drop Piljoon to 9 and then have all the counters he could possibly need. And really, Piljoon can't win by attacking here. So before damage, Cameron will gain 2 life. There's no reason to stay above 1 here, so he's going to gain 2 life, lose 5, go to 1. I don't think that Piljoon can beat this Jite. So now that's 3 damage, and he's got enough counters to pump for lethal here. Alright, so there's a little shaky. That game is a little rough around the edges. We got a couple problems there. Next time I see Piljoon, I want to explain to him how a Thoughtseize should work when you're targeting yourself. Also interesting that we saw that entire game without a single black card from Cameron's side, and I don't know how how meaningful the black cards are going to be in this matchup. I mean, are we playing Thoughtseize? Anyway, there are plenty of white hate cards that are already available to Death Taxes to beat the Reanimator matchup. We're talking about Rest in Peace, Containment Priest, Aethersworn Canonist, Spirit of the Labyrinth, and maybe some Fairy Macabre, because those can also be tutored by Recruiter of the Guard. That seems pretty cool. I'll leave it up to them to decide how they're going to board. The Black-Red Reanimator board is pretty straightforward. He's going to bring in things that will try to beat the hate cards that Cameron brings in, and continue playing a pretty straightforward game. I don't foresee any mediocre reanimate targets like Sire of Insanity staying in the deck because they're just so horrible against Plow. And Chancellor of the Annex was really bad there. It just did not seem good. I think that we can do much better. Tidespout is quite good, and Grizzlebrand is going to be your big answer, but we're going to have to look out for Caracas, Swords to Plowshares, and a host of other things. And this could be a pretty uphill battle to try to beat the white deck. Death and Taxes has a lot of tools here. looks like the sideboards are confirmed. Try to take a peek at Pilchun's deck here while he shuffles. I'd like to know if there's anything strange in there I missed. There's a rest in peace at the bottom of Cameron's deck here. Pilgin will take the play here. Both players at 7 cards. Respectfully check each other's card counts. Alright, so Pilgrim's hand looks like Elish Norn, Dark Ritual, Land, Unmask, Animate Dead. And I believe that is a keep. He's on the play, and I believe that this is a turn 1 Elish Norn. And this time around, I think he'll go the safe route and grab basics. Every card I've seen so far while he's shuffling has been a main board card. It's quite possible that he barely boarded here. Being on the play against a non-blue deck, you can basically do whatever it is that you want. The only thing you'd have to worry about is Variant Cop. He's removing Animate Dead to Unmask. First, I remove a card. He's like, no, man, I'm targeting myself. Oh dear. We've had a couple of mistakes here. And again, he does not reveal his hand to his opponent. Gets rid of the Elish Norn in his hand. Casts a Dark Ritual. We got 3 black floating. And I will use an Exhume to get Elish Norn. What does your deck full of tiny little critters have to say about that? He just, oh dear. Okay, so, comments about that handshake aside, I would like to point out here that Elish Norn is immediately answered by a Karakas, and it only attacks for 4 damage a turn. So after this series, sorry Cam, we gave him a bit of a hard time. It's very easy though to get turn 1 by Reanimator, especially with a big fatty that is so bad for your deck that you stop thinking about various ways that you can still beat it, because the odds just feel so bad, very against you at that point, that you just don't even want to play. However, in that situation, even if his hand was stone dead to that Elish Norn, he still had 4 draw steps to find a Karakas, and once you bounce the fatty back to Reanimator's hand, I think that game was perfectly winnable. I mean, you might get clocked for a few turns. What if you just play your lands, play a Rest in Peace, keep getting clocked, draw a Karakas off the top, win the game with 4 life? You know, that's the sort of thing that happens all the time. You play your outs.
It's not my night, dude.
But he has quickly conceded that game. It's like, I just don't want to see anymore. Let's just go to game 3, and I'll be on the play, and maybe I won't mulligan a bunch of times here, and we'll just take you down. Oh, never mind on that not mulliganing thing. Sorry about that. He just cannot seem to stop mulliganing. He is, however, on the play, and we'll see if his 6 is any better here. Being on the play can obviously make a mediocre hand much better, and it can make a good hand just insane. So his 6 appears to be, we see Ether Vial, Stoneforge, Wasteland, and he will quickly keep. Give it a scry to the bottom, and Pilgrim will reveal a Chancellor again. It says, alright. So we have to beat a Chancellor trigger, and he does not have any 1 mana thing to throw into the void. But that's something that it's usually seen from blue decks. Like, I will commonly throw a Ponder away to make sure that my force is good next turn. The white deck really doesn't have very much to say about that, so he'll likely just get to 2 mana and cast it. So. Children's first turn is to not play anything and go to discard. So he discards the Chancellor that we already knew about.
Alright, I got no cards, man.
Naming human.
He will name human. Alright, so Cameron has cast a 2 mana uncounterable Thalion. So no need to worry about that pesky Chancellor trigger. And by the way, that trigger is gone for the game. It's only on the first spell cast. Land. Petal. He is doing the Thalion math. Yeah, you cannot cast the Petal without paying for it. Here's hoping that the Petal is on the stack and he's thinking about what mana to get. I mean, yes, it's a slow start, but sometimes that's what you have to do. Uh-oh. Okay. No, he's pointed to it. I guess that's a little sloppy, but I can appreciate that he understands that he has to pay for it. I feel like if I was judging this game for any reason, I would probably say, no, you laid that Petal on the table, and it was there for a long time. I think you should just, you have to pay the 1 for it. But he puts the Petal back in his hand, acknowledges that he could not have cast it for free. And okay, never mind everything that I said. Thali is really going to slow him down here. Thalia crashes in for 2. Piljoon is Wasteland safe. Now's the time to cast a 3 mana Rest in Peace. No. How about a 2 mana Vial? I would have liked to keep that Plateau untapped. I guess it doesn't matter because he can't represent Sword with Thalia out anyway. Also, sometimes it's just a waste of brain matter to try to represent things against Black Red Reanimator. They're going to do what they're going to do against you regardless. So he grabs Badlands straight in front of the Wasteland. He needs the red mana this turn badly. He may also just be do or die this turn. Maybe he thinks, screw it, man. I'm gonna do it, man. Here's an Exhume.
In response, I'm gonna
Fairy Macabre will remove Petal
Exile.
and Chancellor from the graveyard. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the second copy is. But so the Exhume is fizzled. Fairy Macabre does his thing.
Put the vial up to 1.
Death and Taxes is way far ahead.
Draw.
I think it doesn't even matter to me what's in his hand. I feel like this turn is just
Swing for
waste
2.
you, attack you with Thalia,
Joon
go.
for 2.
There's nothing in your hand that I would be thinking about right now.
Light. Stoneforge Mystic.
Nothing good.
So Stoneforge hits the battlefield. It's unclear on first thought what we're gonna get, but I mean,
Which of the Sword
yeah,
Firearms?
any of the swords will do. Sword is in the revealed zone, I guess. Please waste him.
Pass the turn. On your upkeep, I'm going to waste
I'm still unsure why Cameron is insisting on
Badlands.
wasting him when it's untapped. The deck plays very few instants, so it's probably completely okay. But and maybe I'm just being really nitpicky by thinking you just don't be fancy with it. Just waste it when it's there, when it's untapped. Don't give him the chance to use that black or red. Joon plays a 1 mana Chrome Mox. Believe that could be his only action for the turn. Pass it back in the face of an active Stoneforge Mystic and an attacking Thalia.
Untap.
Cameron will untap. The Vial will move up.
Move 5 without a land.
Draw.
The mullet, who's up for the game?
I think I mulled every time.
Fetch.
My only win was
And we'll go grab another land. I believe earlier when I said I thought that he was playing Scrublands. Now I remember. Yeah, this deck operates off plains and plateaus.
mulling to 5 without a land on the play against. I don't know. I still. There was a way to keep Death Ray Shaman and then like dodge a force on his first draws and then possibly get there.
Um, if there was ever a time for a 3 mana rest in peace, I believe it would be now.
Actually ridiculous. Where you brick off for 10 turns in a row without a land. And I know why it is. It's because I play 21 lands, and then when it gets late game
Okay,
and I win
that's
games,
pretty
I look
backbreaking
at the
actually.
plains there, and I grab them, and I start drawing
Piljun will move down to 12 and will stare down
Stone Frost Force.
Rishadan Port. So he can create a sword and
Pass
he
the
can
turn.
port you on your upkeep, and
On your upkeep,
things just seem really bad.
I'm not leaving, I'm just sticking cards in the. I mean, I grabbed the pile, right?
Yeah.
And I like so
He's
if I
just getting taxed from all sides here,
I grab it
and
and
he's
Weave it in.
about to be facing down a sword.
on your
I
exit.
grab the whole pile of the graveyard over here and I
Oh.
just stick it in. Instead of separating the lands and then sticking them in and trying to cut the same way I put my
Upkeep.
it's the
Wow,
same way I
moves up
put
to
my
3.
sideboard into my deck
Cameron
too.
will draw.
Is that sideboard weaving?
Yeah, I see people do that. I always thought that it's
And this sword is going to
As
connect,
opposed to
and
sticking them into my
I won't say it's the part that's putting the game away. It's
Switch.
actually
cards on
mostly
the
the
end
Thalia.
and then just shuffle. I've seen
Swing
people do it
for
always.
4, and then hit
I'm
you
not
for
sure
2
whether
more.
You're leaving in like one motion.
The clock is much sped up
Ability.
now.
Draw a
I
card.
should like
Draw some additional cards each
break
turn.
all of that down.
I mean, yeah, I just put them all into one pile and then
here's Cameron saying, go ahead and untap, and I'm going to port you again in your upkeep.
On your upkeep, you search down for it.
Yeah, they were really good. Kept getting hands with like
The Wasteland up for any duels that he finds.
turn 3 mana board.
Nope, no Grizzle Brands.
Kill all my units. And I got there versus him. And he mulled the 5.
Maybe he just doesn't even want to draw a card.
4. He mulled 4.
I know how you feel, by the way. Anytime I stare down at that,
Pretty bad.
I feel like just throwing all the cards against the wall. Actually, yeah. All right. Good job,